19. That's it. And top goal scorer for the entire tournament. There he is, Kieran.
Hello boys and girls, and welcome to my preview of Olympiacos against Arsenal. Europa League, we are back again. Yes, we are. No Champions League for us, it's still the Europa League. We have to get on with it. And this is the point in the season where things get a little bit serious. The sides that are dropping down from the Champions League now start to enter the race. And we've got one of those sides, Olympiacos. And to let you know a little about them, of course, they play in the Greek League, which is the Super League. And if anyone has been to their stadium before, they will know that it's not a nice place to go. It's very, very hostile. Now, it's the Kolasinac Stadium. I believe I pronounced that right. If I butchered it, I'm sorry. And yeah, we played there before a few years ago, and it's very, very hostile. They love their football out there in Greece. And this is a big game. Now, I was having a little look at Olympiacos this season and getting a few little stats and bits and pieces for the preview. And something that may play a part in this game. I'm not 100% sure whether it will or not, because these teams seem to take the Europa League a lot more seriously than, shall we say, the English teams, who tend to, you know, rest a lot of players given the games at the weekend. But looking at the league table in Greece, now Olympiacos are top of the league. They've got 60 points. Now second place is PAOK on 58 points. Now they play each other on Sunday. Now Olympiacos, what do? Do they look at this one and say, the league title's more important, we can't afford to lose that game at the weekend? Or do they just simply look at it and say, you know what, 2 games, 4 days, who cares? We just go and get on with it. Or will they rest some players? It's going to be a very interesting one to say the least. But looking at that fixture coming up, they could well make a few changes. Now, I know they lost a few players in the January transfer window as well, which hasn't helped them. But they're still going to be dangerous. They were, of course, in Spurs' group in the Champions League. And there was one point when they were playing away at Spurs where they were 2-0 up. Now, defensively, that's where you can get at them. And, you know, if you're going to win this game, we need to get that away goal. It'd be nice to come away with the victory. It's going to be the first European game under Mikel Arteta, and it will be nice to go and get that done. Now, some more stats with Olympiacos this season. Like I said, the top of the league, 60 points. They played 24 games. Now, they've scored 50 goals in those 24 games. They've had 334 shots in 24 games. That's a hell of a lot. 1,866 passes in those 24 games. And they've turned over the ball 1,011 times. Now, they've suffered 308 fouls. And they've also made 367 fouls. They've received 47 yellow cards and they've received 1 red. So pretty lively, the Greek league, that looks like, that's for sure. They average 2.1 goals per game and they average around about 13.9 shots per game. It's a hell of a lot. I'd be a bit more worried if Unai Emery was manager, because we averaged probably around about 25 shots against us when he was in charge. You know, they're averaging near enough 2 goals per game. And they're certainly doing, you know, the most in the Greek league, and they're dominating. And there's some big sides in there as well. Panathinaikos, you can't forget them. I know they're sitting 4th at the moment. But yeah, Olympiacos, they're one off, if not the biggest team in Greece. No offence to supporters of any other Greek side. I don't want to upset them or anything else. But yeah, Olympiacos, they're a big one. But listen, we should be able to go and take care of business with all due respect. If we can go and get a goal, silence the crowd, because that's always important. You've got to be able to silence, you know, these fans. You've got to be able to not let them get you know, ahead of play. Don't give them anything to cheer about. Don't let Olympiacos go and get the lead in this game. Because if you do that, you give them something to cheer about, and then it becomes a difficult evening. In terms of our lineup, it's going to be very interesting. Looking at Mikel Arteta's press conference as well. No Mesut Ozil in the squad for personal reasons, and we have now found out as well it's because his wife is having a baby. So absolutely no problems with that whatsoever, and massive congratulations to Mesut Ozil and his wife, and yeah, we hope that everything goes well. You're looking at some injuries, players coming back, players resting. We've got a massive game at the weekend against Everton. We're talking about Olympiacos and the game they're playing. But if we're going to stand a chance of breaking into that top 5, then we're going to have to be winning games, you know, like we've got at the weekend against Everton. Another side that's in and around us and in the mix. And we're going to have to take care of business. So listen, with that said, let's go and get into the predicted lineup. Starting off in goal, Emi Martinez. And I think that one's a straightforward decision given the fact that we do change our goalkeepers in the cup rounds. Even under Mikel Arteta, when we went into the FA Cup, we changed it around. So I'm presuming, even though it's the Europa League, he's going to go with that. I can't presume, you know, that Leno's going to go in goal. So it'll be Martinez. Now, in the defensive areas, first of all, on the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I'll give Hector Bellerin a rest. He's played a lot of minutes in the Premier League since he came back in the game against Chelsea. I know we've just had a break and everything else, but let's be cautious as well. So I've got no problems with Maitland-Niles playing there. I feel that, you know, he was playing that role really well under Mikel Arteta. But Hector Bellerin's come in the side, and I feel this is a good opportunity for Maitland-Niles to get some more minutes under his belt and to, you know, keep playing in that position. Now, in the centre of defence, this, of course, is where I feel we could make some changes. Our new signing, Mari, has travelled out there, but I don't think he will start this game, to be honest with you. I think that, first of all, we're going to go with Socrates. Going back to Greece, of course, he will know this league very, very well, and I feel that this is the perfect game for him. He will know about the crowds and hostility and everything else, and he will not be fazed by it in any way, shape or form. So first of all, I'm going to go with Socrates. Now, alongside him, I'm going to go with David Luiz. Bit of experience, and this is a player as well that's played all around the world. Big occasions, big crowds, very hostile places, and he also won't be fazed. So alongside Socrates, I'm going to go with David Luiz. Now, on the left-hand side, we've of course been playing Saka, but for this one, I'm going to bring him out of the side. I'm going to rest him, and I'm going to go with Kolasinac. Now, he needs to play. He needs to get minutes under his belt, and he needs to try and force his way back in the side ahead of Saka, because right now, he's not going to be able to do that. And the only way he's going to do it is playing in these kind of games, and the FA Cup and everything else. And of course, Kieran Tierney, he's going to be back in a couple of weeks or so. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Mikel Arteta does with this. But for this game, I'm going to go with Kolasinac. Now, the two that sit in front, Lucas Torreira has not travelled, but they have said they're going to monitor him and then decide whether they're going to fly him out a little bit later on if he's better. Given that news, if, you know, he does get flown out there, I would start Lucas Torreira, given the fact that, you know, he hasn't played in the last Premier League game, come off the bench, and I would start him. If he travels out there and he's over this little bit of sickness that they're talking about, then I would have Lucas Torreira in there. Now, alongside him, it's going to be an interesting one what, you know, Mikel Arteta does. Guendouzi, I know he's back in the squad. We've all heard about what happened and why he wasn't in the squad. Apparently, there was a bit of a tantrum from Guendouzi, shall we say, out in Dubai. And Mikel Arteta has put his foot down and said that, you know, he's not going to stand for that. And he's dropped him from the squad, but he's back in. So alongside Lucas Torreira, I would play Guendouzi. I would give Granit Xhaka a rest. And I feel that Guendouzi may well have a point to prove, and he may well have to, you know, buck up his ideas and show that he can't be displaying that kind of attitude. So that's what I'm going to go with, and that's Guendouzi. In the attacking three, first of all, on the right-hand side, again, this is where we've got some selection headache. We've got a few choices to make. But I would actually bring out Nicolas Pepe for this one, and I would play Reiss Nelson. I'd give him a chance. I know he's back from injury, and I would give him the go. I feel that Nicolas Pepe needs to be playing in the Premier League and everything else. Now, unless Mikel Arteta decides that, You know, he wants to keep the momentum with Nicolas Pepe. I'd bring him out for this one, and I would, you know, play Reiss Nelson. That's what I would go with. Now, on the left-hand side of that three, I would go with Martinelli. Hasn't played in the last couple of games. Well, he played at Burnley, sorry, but, you know, it feels forever since we played games because of that break in between. But, you know, he didn't play at the weekend, so it's the perfect opportunity. He's going to be fired up. He's going to be fresh. He's going to be ready. So play him in this game. Now, in the middle, of course, Mesut Ozil, like I said, he's not going to be there. Dani Ceballos, I suppose that's an option. But he played at the weekend, and I feel that, you know, given the fact we've got a home game against Everton and how well he played against Newcastle, I'd be saving him for that game. So I would actually start with Joe Willock. Bags of energy. He will be driving through that middle area and he will cause problems. The only thing I say about Joe Willock is his final decision making. He's still learning. He's got to release the ball quicker. Know when to shoot, know when to pass. But I would start off with Joe Willock. Up front as the main striker, Alexandre Lacazette. Not Eddie Nketiah for me, given the fact that he did start against Newcastle. Now, Lacazette, he's going to be fired up. He's going to be buzzing from scoring and he's going to want to just keep playing. So I would actually start him in this game. It's as simple as that. In terms of the substitutes, I would load it up. There would be the likes of Pepe, Aubameyang, etc, etc. If things ain't going right, you need to get a goal, then those are the kind of players you could bring off the bench. So for me, that's a very, very strong lineup, and I think it's more than capable of getting the job done in Olympiacos. So as usual, if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you smash a like on this video, and as usual, let me know in the comments section whether you agree or disagree with my lineup. What do you think? What would you go with? Would you go stronger than that, or would you go with what I selected? Let me know in the comments section. So listen, over to Arsenal now. Let's try and keep this run going. We, of course, are the only team left in all 5 leagues across Europe, the main leagues, that are unbeaten in 2020. Because, of course, Liverpool, they lost in Champions League in midweek. So we're the last team left. We're still unbeaten in 2020. Small comforts, for what's been a poor season. But listen, we've got a big run in. And this is where it starts. Big opportunity, because this is another avenue to the Champions League. So that's why maybe Mikel Arteta might go stronger, because of the fact of what is at the end of it. It's a big pot of gold. So we'll wait and see though. There's going to be player ratings after the game. And yeah, let's hope I'm smiling. Let's hope I'm happy. Let's hope we get the victory. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll see you lot soon. I'm out of here.